Mr. Sheldon Goldberg, owner of New England Championship Wrestling, as he is on the line.
I am on the line indeed, yes. Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. It's finally good to talk to you. We've tried a few times and just couldn't get through to you for some reason.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Sometimes things happen, you know.
Right.
But right now, I am wending my way through Boston traffic.
Oh,
which is about as much fun as internal bleeding. So,
how is the snow?
It's pretty bad.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty bad. You know what's happened here? For those who may not be familiar, is we've had a series of snowstorms that have left, all told, close to 6-7 feet of snow in a 2-week period. And the problem is where to put it. It's made streets narrower, and that, of course, has an effect on traffic. In fact, we've had a couple of states of emergency here where, there were traffic bans, and our public transit system was closed yesterday. It's just been a real mess up out here, and but we're hanging in. We're doing the best we can here. We're getting through it.
I know the WWE had to cancel some shows. Does that mean that you guys are same thing or at a standstill right now?
No, it's not so much that we're at a standstill. It's that two things. One was the weather, but the other thing is I've got an issue with one of my feet, and I've got to possibly get surgery. So it was kind of important for me to take some time off. It's nothing life-threatening or that serious, but it's one of those things that if I don't take care of it, it could become quite serious. So, and I've been promoting wrestling for 15 years, and haven't had much downtime in all that time. Just a couple of breaks, but we were doing television up until the end of this past calendar year, and that's 52 weeks of original television with no reruns. So, we're going constantly here, and what we're trying to do is retool some things and get ourselves a better television situation, which is on the way to happening, and in the long run, it's going to be good. But it was one of those things like, it was impossible to renovate the house while you're still living in it. So a short break was required. So there you go.
And
Sheldon, I want to ask you, what made you decide that you wanted to get into professional wrestling?
Lapse of sanity. The serious answer to your question is that I've been a fan since I was a little kid. I didn't really think that I would ever be involved in professional wrestling as far as promoting it or being involved in it in any sort of a professional capacity. Before I was involved in it, I was in the entertainment business. I did professional theater. I was a producer and a writer and so forth. And I had kind of a long and sort of crazy career prior to getting involved in pro wrestling, but I knew a number of people in the business. And as the world changed and the territories disappeared, and one thing sort of led to another, and this whole thing called independent wrestling popped up, and I had a lot of the skills that you need to be a wrestling promoter. I promoted live events. I've done publicity for Broadway shows and shows on tour. I had a good background that was kind of unique to pro wrestling and compatible to what you need to be a promoter of professional wrestling. So that was sort of the long and the short of it. It was similar to what I was doing, but different from what I was doing before. So, I have no regrets. So,
and that's awesome to have that type of type of a background and then, come into wrestling, I mean, there's been a lot of other people that have had prior backgrounds like The Miz. He was once on the Real World TV show. And then you have The Rock, who's had a successful football career, and Roman Reigns, who had a successful football career. And, you don't really, besides The Miz, and I guess Johnny Fairplay, you don't really hear too much or too many people, like yourself having a background in the entertainment business of acting or putting on plays or, any of that. I mean, you don't really hear of that in wrestling today.
Right. And, it's funny. There are people who are involved people involved in wrestling who work for WWE and who work for TNA who have entertainment backgrounds. It's not unusual. So, hello? Yeah. Oh, okay, good. You're still here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought I might have lost you for a minute, but anyway. So no, it's these days. The world has changed so much that WWE, when they're hiring people, they're looking for people in all sorts of industries and other types of sports and entertainment. I mean, they're looking for guys out of Hollywood. They're looking for guys who have done all sorts of things. So.
Okay, well, that sounds very interesting.
Now, did you start New England Championship Wrestling, or did you get that? So
I did start New England Championship Wrestling.
Did you have a lot of startup money to do something like that? I'm just curious. Yeah.
No, not really. It was sort of scraped together. This has been kind of a business that's been scraped together over the years. I was working with another guy, the late Boston bad boy, Tony Rumble. He had a company that was originally called the Century Wrestling Alliance, then it became NWA New England. Okay. And I was working with him very closely, and he died suddenly in 1999. And after his death, the company sort of went in a couple of weird directions, and at that point, I decided to start New England Championship Wrestling, and that was 15 years ago. So,
man, who was your champion back then?
Excuse me?
Who was your champion back at that time?
Wow, our first champion was a guy by the name of Mike Hollow, who was the head trainer for the late Killer Kowalski.
Okay.
And we've had a bunch of guys since then. Brutal Bob Evans, Slick Wagner Brown, Golden Greek Alex Arion. It's a long list.
Okay.
Our current champion is a guy named Brad Hollister, a young kid who I think has an awful lot of potential and has been doing really, really well for us over this past year or so.
Now, we would be interested. We've already reached an agreement with you, but we would be interested in having any of your stars on in the future. To help promote New England Championship Wrestling.
That'd be great.
And okay, and also I want to let you know we do have a caller on right now. We're going to take that caller at this time. 972. You're on the air with Sheldon Goldberg. Okay, they just hung up. Okay,
man, they're dropping like flies for me.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, that would be great to have them on in the future. So anytime you want to get any of them on, just let us know.
Sounds good.
What are your plans to go to back to TV? I guess.
Well, what we're working with Dave Marquez, who runs Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Oh yeah,
and is the force behind this United Wrestling Network that you hear about here and there. And what the United Wrestling Network originally started to be was a group of promoters, independent promoters, who all had television in different markets that were going to band together to have a common champion, but more importantly, to band together to attempt to sell national advertising and sort of work together while maintaining their separate identities to be sort of a united promotional force. And what Dave has been doing is he's been setting up television shows, much like his Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, which is a great show. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but he's been setting up shows in local markets similar to what he's been doing in Los Angeles throughout the country with pretty good success. So it's kind of a different business model than how most independent companies get on television. It's these days, most independent companies, if you want to get on television, you're going to buy the time from a local television station and hope that you can sell enough advertising to cover your cost and put out your TV every week.
Right.
What Dave does, however, is a little bit different. Dave's deal is a co-venture with the television station. They are partners in that program, and the station is the one that sells the advertising and splits the revenue with the wrestling promotion, and it's more or less a joint venture, and that's what he is setting up in different markets around the country, and that's what we're attempting to do here. Prior to this, we had bought the time, and we had sold advertising enough to pretty much cover our costs. But the problem with that is that, when you're going to buy time on a television station, the time they're going to sell you is the time that they really can't do anything with on their own. So you're not getting the most valuable time on the station. You're getting the least valuable time on the station.
Like 2 a.m. or something like that, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We were on. We had a what I consider to be a pretty decent time slot on the station that we were on. We were on Thursday nights at 12:30 a.m. And it was a half-hour show, and we had a pretty decent audience. But in the real world of television and the real world of advertisers, we had a number of mom and pop companies that we were very happy to have as sponsors. So we were able to sell cheap advertising and have that local presence from local people on our television show. But when we talk to advertising agencies about getting bigger sponsors, car dealers, restaurant groups, regional restaurant chains, retail chains, and so forth, they want numbers and they want metrics. And the television station that we were being broadcast on was not a subscriber to Nielsen, so they didn't get ratings. But the agencies, however, knew what the ratings for those stations were, and the station that we were on was not exactly a force in the marketplace. And one of the biggest advertising agencies in the New England area met with us. We managed to get in there and meet with them, and they were very interested in us and our product, but what they weren't interested in was the platform that we were on, and they were encouraging us and want to work with us to help us get a different outlet that would be more visible to more people. So basically what we did was we could have continued the deal that we had, but what we decided to do was to make an effort to get a better deal, even if it meant going off the air for 6 months or longer. So that we decided to take a gamble and go for potential growth rather than stand pat and stay where we were. So that's the long and short of that. And I think that, the idea of independent companies on local TV stations and joint ventures, I think that is Davis Marquez has been having a great deal of success in different markets around the country, and I really think that that's going to go well up here at some point, and we're gonna eventually do really, really well with it. So so looking forward to that. And I think that for the talent and for the fans, they're going to get a better quality production. They're going to get a production that has more resources behind it. They're going to get a longer show. They're going to get an hour-long show instead of a half-hour show. So, all in all, we're trying to tick this thing up, and it may take a little while to put all the resources together to do it, but it'll happen eventually, and the time had come to invest the time in doing that. So that's our plan in a nutshell going forward.
Wow.
I want to let the fans know, if you want to call in and talk to Sheldon Goldberg, owner of New England Championship Wrestling, you can call in at 773-897-6289 and press 1 to be in the host's view. And we, the same call that called a while ago, we're going to try and get them on the air. Again, 972, you're on the air with Sheldon Goldberg. 972, you're on the air with Sheldon Goldberg. 972, are you there? Hello?
All right.
I hear somebody.
Hello?
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 Okay.
Hello? Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened to the caller, but I didn't say nothing.
But
I wanted to ask you, Sheldon. You were talking about New England Championship Wrestling airing at a late time slot. Would you compare that to the early ECW days before ECW got a deal on TNN, when Paul Heyman and ECW had to air at an early morning time slot?
ECW was a different animal altogether. ECW had such a, you have to remember the time period. The internet was a new thing, and ECW had really sort of captured the imagination of younger people that had been disaffected by the sort of cartoonish direction of the WWE. And people were looking for it, and it didn't matter when it was on. If it was on in your market, you made it a point to go out of your way to watch it, even if you had to tape it and watch it at a later time or whatever. And the ECW is a product that people look for. It's very difficult to do that now. Although, in a similar vein, you got to remember ECW was going on before there was such a thing as social media. Today we have social media. We have Twitter. We have Facebook. We have YouTube. We have all sorts of mechanisms to promote ourselves and let people know that we're out there, and give our audience a chance to follow us and interact with us. ECW at the beginning, they were internet darlings, and that was sort of the very beginning of that. They were sort of the pioneers and the creators of that. Today, it's a little bit different. It's a lot different, actually. More channels, more options to watch a variety of content, and it's not. You're competing with a lot more today than you were back when ECW was in its heyday. So much more to compete with.
In that same vein, how do you feel like, as a promotion, if you're trying to keep a secret, let's say, of somebody coming in, and it getting out there? Do you, in the social media, or do you just say that?
I don't believe in keeping secrets. I think if you got somebody coming in and you're not telling people about it, I think that's sort of a mistake. But if you're talking about things like if you're trying to keep kayfabe or storyline integrity or something like that, that's a different set of issues. It's tougher today for sure, but I think it's a different audience and a different world today. I think people have different expectations of pro wrestling, and the business changes every day. It changes all the time. As we speak right now, the business is going to be different 2 years from now from what it is right this minute as we're speaking. So, it's we're really in a very interesting time, because sort of all bets are off. It's all bets are off as far as content goes, as far as what it takes to be successful in today's world and today's environment. Everybody has a theory, but I think that one thing is for certain, and that is that the world is changing every day, and you've got to keep tabs on it. You've got to just watch where things are going and try to make the best of it.
I wanna ask you, Sheldon, is there a anywhere out there where we can watch New England Championship Wrestling on the web? I mean, since we don't get it down here in Georgia.
Right. If you go to our website, NECW.tv, we have a YouTube channel. When you go to our website, there's a YouTube icon on the top of the page. And if you click that, it takes you right to our YouTube channel. And we've got, hundreds of videos up there, complete episodes, a year and 3/4 of complete episodes, plus about 60 or 70 updates that we did prior to going on the air, and some special content as well. We have a mini series that we put up a year or two ago called The Best of World Women's Wrestling. We have a sub promotion called World Women's Wrestling, and we put together a little series of some of the highlights of that over the years when it was a standalone thing, and that's getting tons and tons of views. So there's a lot of good content up there, and we have thousands of people that subscribe to it. So head on over there and enjoy.
Okay, I'll be sure and check that out. My co-host was telling me that he read that John Cena and Kofi Kingston used to work for you back in the early days of New England Championship Wrestling.
That's right. John Cena had a match in our company. Kofi Kingston had a few matches in our company. Beth Phoenix had worked for us early in her career before she became famous. Of course, Eddie Edwards was a stalwart in New England Championship Wrestling. Yep. There's just a ton of people that have gone on to bigger and better things that have come through NECW at one time or another. Doug Williams, who used to work for TNA, the British wrestler, he had his first match in America in New England Championship Wrestling. So, Fergal Devitt, who is Finn Balor now in NXT, he worked for us before he became famous. He worked for us for several months. In fact, we were instrumental in helping him get into New Japan. So,
Prince Devitt,
we've got a long history and a lot of alumni that we're really, really proud of. So,
and that's what I was going to ask. How do you, as a promoter, feel when you see some of the talent maybe move along to bigger and better things?
I think it's great, especially some of the ones that I think really, I sort of think Jim Ross had said this to me once about talent. He says, what happens to a talent is pretty much what's supposed to happen. And the more I do this and the more I see people and the more I deal with talent, the more I believe that's true. And I think there's people that I see and people who work for me and people who work elsewhere that I sort of felt like right away that this guy or this girl had something. And like I'll give you an example. There was a girl who worked for us a couple of times. When she worked for us, she worked under the name Mercedes KV. And I said to myself, and I said to everybody around me, that I said, this girl's not going to be here long. She's going to get picked up, and they're going to do things with her. She was beautiful. She was athletic. And, you could tell just by looking at her that she was something special. And that girl right now is in NXT, and she works under the name Sasha Banks. So she's going to be something really special, I think.
Now I have a question for you about Jim Ross. You was talking about Jim Ross and everything. Have you ever tried Jim Ross's barbecue sauce he has, and is it good?
Never tried the barbecue sauce. I have had the beef jerky, which is excellent. He used to sell peanuts, and they were very good as well. But I have not tried the barbecue sauce.
Well, I have to be honest with you. Every time I go to a store, go to a grocery store, whatever, I always try to see if they have Jim Ross's barbecue sauce here in Georgia. But I never can find it. I always see Uncle Ben's, and I always see all these other, barbecue sauces.
I think that's an item you have to order online. So.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's in stores like in Oklahoma, in his home area. I don't believe that it's in stores across the country. But.
Yeah.
You had, I think I was reading that you had Kevin Kelly as an announcer.
We had Kevin Kelly as our booker at one point in time.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is right after he had left WWE.
Okay, and now
Kevin
he's
was
with
really
Ring of Honor.
And he's with Ring of Honor, of course, as an announcer. Kevin's a really talented guy, and I think he had a lot of good ideas, and a lot of good insights. He didn't really have what I would consider to be a strong pro wrestling background, but he had a lot of good ideas, and he picked up a lot during his tenure in WWE. And I think that apart from being a very talented announcer, I think his perception as a wrestling guy was really, really good, and I think that Ring of Honor should be very, very grateful that they have him aboard.
The funny thing about it is, Sheldon, is I didn't know until about a month ago that Kevin Kelly was actually nailed as a convict in WWE. I never did know that.
It's a different Kevin Kelly.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
that Kevin Kelly was Nails. They were the same. They have the same.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin Kelly, his real name isn't Kevin Kelly. His real name is Kevin Foote.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, you're talking about two different people. Yeah.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
I think Kevin Kelly might have wrestled with his conscience a few times, but that's the extent of it. I don't think he never set foot in a ring and actually had a match.
Well, I'm glad you set that straight for me, because I was under the impression that Kevin Kelly from Ring of Honor was actually nailed as a convict, and I was like, well, they sure do look a lot different unless he's lost some weight or gained some weight or something. I said, something don't look right,
Right. Right.
Well, what are your thoughts on the way that WWE is portraying Sting right now? I mean, what are your opinions on that?
I don't know. It's interesting. He really hasn't done too much, nor do I think they intend to do too much with him. But he's the last guy. He's the last guy that never worked there, and I never try to second guess what they do. They do whatever they want to do, and I think that it's cool that Sting is there. I don't think you're going to see much from him in terms of in-ring, but I think Sting's a kid that actually we're probably about the same age, but Sting's a guy that probably should have hung it up a few years ago. God bless him for continuing to go on, and God bless him for continuing to go on with TNA, which really needed a star of his stature. Mm-hmm. But his better days are behind him. So whatever happens, it's a bonus at this point.
Well, do you follow?
Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sheldon, do you follow other independent organizations like in other states, like let's say Georgia, for instance? Do you?
I really don't, and I probably should. I mean, I see stuff every now and then from different places. Usually someone who wants to come up and work here will say, hey, take a look at my match from here or whatever.
Right.
we have kind of an open door here.
Okay.
We like to see guys come up from other places and work for us. And I always believed in that since the very beginning of the company. And guys used to look at me like I had three heads. Like, why are you letting this guy work from England, or why are you letting this kid work from Canada, or whatever? Because I think it number one, it gives the fans something different to look at. It's not the usual suspects every month. And the other thing is, it gives the talent a chance to work with different people, and it gives those people a little different perspective on what's going on someplace else. I always felt that I had a lot of respect for guys that were willing to get in their car, no matter what the money was, and go work someplace else for the experience of it. I mean, if you're a wrestler of any sort, you should be at some point trying to broaden your horizons. I'm not saying go on the road constantly or work here, but you should be looking to branch out and spread your wings and see if the grass is greener on the other side of the yard, so to speak. So I've always had a lot of respect for guys that were willing to get in their car and go anywhere or go to a different country. I had mentioned Fergal Devitt, who wrestles in NXT as Finn Balor. And he had sent me an email years ago and said, "Hey, listen, I got your name from somebody I know," and he was living in Ireland at the time, where he's a native of, and says, I have an uncle that lives in Boston, and I want to come there for a few months, and looking for a place to work and looking for someone to help connect me to some people. Can I send you some matches? And I said, sure. He sent me some matches and sent me a little bit of a resume, and I knew instantly that he was somebody special. I knew instantly this kid was going to be something really great. And I said, sure, come on over and I'll hook you up and I'll introduce you to people and so forth. And I just had a lot of respect for a guy who was willing to leave a country. It's one thing to drive a couple of states over or whatever, but to leave your country and come to a place where you don't know very many people, and just for the love of wrestling and for the desire of wanting to have a different type of experience, you really have to respect somebody like that. Doug Williams was the same thing. He didn't have to come to the U.S. He was already doing very substantial things in the United Kingdom, but he had come over here on a holiday and he wanted to work, and he tried with a whole bunch of different people, and we were the only ones that would let him work. And the rest, as they say, is history. But
well, he is one of my favorites.
I always had a lot of respect for people like that. I'm sorry, say again?
Yeah, he is one of my favorites. I've never met him, but he's just one of my favorites that I've watched over the years.
Great gentleman, great technician. Somebody that I really have a lot of respect for, in and out of the ring.
We have about 5 minutes left on the show, Sheldon, but I just wanted to let you know, Sheldon, that I wasn't sure if you were aware of this or not, but the way that me and Harold actually found out about you in New England Championship Wrestling was through a longtime friend of mine that I've known. I guess I've known him now for about over 15 years, and I've never met him in person. Rich Moretti, he's a big fan of the show.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and he was telling me, he said, hey, you need somebody on the show? I said, yeah. He said, I know this guy Sheldon Goldberg. He said, I go to the wrestling all the time up here in Massachusetts. And I said, okay. And so he's the one that actually told me about you and everything. And I've never met Rich in person, but I've known Rich a long time, talked to him on phone stuff, and he's a very big wrestling fan.
Yes, he is. And a big NECW fan, for which I'm very grateful. So,
but I want to ask you though, Sheldon, in the closing moments of the interview, do you have anything you want to promote or anything to the fans out there?
Well, just if you want to follow New England Championship Wrestling, we're on Facebook at facebook.com/NECW Wrestling. We're on the web at NECW.TV. And we're on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is NECW Wrestling, and Twitter at NECW. So, give us a look-see. And if you're in the New England area, if you're within driving distance of us, come and see us sometime.
Okay, we wanna thank you for being on the show today, sir, and we're glad we finally got to interview you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
God bless.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the owner of New England Championship Wrestling, Sheldon Goldberg, and we will be back here on February the 17th. And what time was that, Harold? At 5 or 5:30?
I think it was 5, but I'm not sure. We will update the page and let them know for sure.
Okay, and we're going to be at. Yeah, I'll let you tell them, because you know more about this person than I do.
We're expecting to have Tony Calhoun on here in Georgia. He's known as the Cobra, and they're promoting a show in let me see, where is that at? In LaGrange, Georgia, on I think it's the February the 28th, I want to say, but we will get back with you on that date and those times.
Okay, and we will keep you informed, folks, on any updates we have with the shows. We're having more shows in the next few days, or anything. We will let you know if we have anything before the 17th, because, like I said, we are in talks with several different people about coming on the show, and once we get some confirmation on them, we will let you know.
And if you have any questions or comments, or feel free to let us know. We'll be happy to, take a look at those and see if we can answer some of those for you.
And also, before we end, folks, I'd like to let you know, if you call into the show, please speak. I mean,